Welcome back to another episode, you guys, with Babel's Nonsense.
And with Rhyme and Reason.
And it's John and Lauren here today. The introduction is going to sound a little different because we are Zooming because I woke up a little congested and I did not want to risk getting Lauren sick with COVID running rampant. I do not have COVID that I know of. I have not tested, but I feel fine. I typically get sinus infections every time this year, even though that's what everyone says, but we don't want to risk it, right? So I'm self-quarantining just because that's what I'm doing. And we have a great episode for you guys today. We pre-recorded an episode 2 weeks ago where we got to interview Andy and Kristin Bernard, who own Cotes De Femme here in Huntsville. And they are a local wine company where they have a rosé and a cab. And Lauren, how do you feel about this episode we're about to drop?
I am so looking forward to it. I know that you and I had so much fun that day. Mm-hmm. We had great conversation, and then we wound up staying a little afterwards, hanging out with them. And they are one of the coolest couples I think I've ever met.
Agreed. They were so much fun and just so easy to talk to. This interview just flowed so beautifully. And I cannot wait for everyone to listen to it, where they get into how they started getting into a wine company, how they just created their rosé and their cab. And if you wait a little bit down in the episode, they have a sneak peek of what's to come with their company, but we will not be giving that away. Also, Lauren, tell the listeners what they need to do towards the end.
Well, if you wait till the end, we're going to announce how to, we will be giving away a bottle of cab and a bottle of rosé. So listen at the end so that you know what to do. And you don't want to miss it because it's freaking delicious.
It's so delicious, guys. And I'm like, you'll hear multiple times in this podcast how I'm not really a big wine drinker unless it is rosé or Prosecco, but I'm on a margarita kick right now. But this rosé to me was absolutely divine. And that was my favorite. And Lauren, I believe the cab was your favorite, correct?
Yes. I'm a red girl, and it was so good.
And I'm not a red wine drinker, but it was really delicious. And then we got to pair it off the mic with food, and that did kind of change the taste of it, which I thought was really cool. Yes. But I know you said in the interview with them that you were going to take a bottle to your husband because you and him like to try different wines. Did you take this bottle home and did y'all try it?
We did. We opened a bottle over. We do charcuterie every once in a while. And yes, there was nothing left. It was good.
That's good. Fun little date night. So I'm so excited for everyone to listen to this episode. So without further ado, listen in, guys. So welcome back to another episode of the Babel's Nonsense podcast. I am here with Andy and Kristin, and I don't want to pronounce this wrong because she always gets on to me because I always say Cotes De Femme. That is not how you say it, is it?
Technically, it's pronounced Cotes De Femme. The S is silent like they pronounce it in France.
Teacher.
Yeah, we were talking about it yesterday when we were doing a catch-up podcast, and we were like, I'm so excited for this, and I kept saying it wrong, so I pronounce a lot of things wrong.
That's okay. A lot of people pronounce it Cotes De Femme because that's the way it's spelled. But it's technically Cotes De Femme.
Okay, Cotes De Femme. And you're not a winery.
No.
You just own a wine company?
Correct.
Okay. And we're going to get into that and talk about how you did that. But Lauren is also here with me.
Hello.
So she's going to be asking some questions as well. And let's get started. So how did this all start? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself, backstory, where you're from. Are you from Huntsville? Because obviously this is local to Huntsville. And just kind of give us a little backstory.
Okay. Well, I'm Kristin Bernard, and I'm actually originally from Mobile, Alabama. My husband, Andy Bernard, is from California, and we've been married now 25 years this year.
Right. Oh, wow. Congrats.
Thank you. So we met at the University of Alabama, and Andy actually came from California on baseball scholarship. That's right. What brought him to Alabama. So we met in school, and
I met her my first week here and then proposed to her 10 months later.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a true love story because, that's not common anymore, like where people just meet and then they're like done with each other in 4 to 5 years. So that is awesome. But so where were you from in California?
Southern California. Grew up in the mountains just above Bakersfield, California.
Gotcha.
Played ball there, and then Bama brought me back for a recruiting trip. I pitched on the 96-97 teams. Then my little brother pitched on the 97-98, and our little sister pitched softball 98-99. All three of us kids were there at the same time.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Roll Tide.
Well, I was about to say, like, obviously California is very different from Alabama. So you loved it here and stayed?
My recruiting trip was exactly what I wanted it to be.
Okay.
From a baseball perspective, I know we're here to talk about wine, but from
No. We got to know you first.
From a baseball perspective, California is a factory of perfect weather and great coaching, great competition, that kind of stuff. SEC baseball is where it's at from a college perspective.
Yeah, gotcha.
And so when I was a junior college transfer, came from Bakersfield Junior College, and then I came back. Saw a game. It was like nothing I'd ever seen before. Red brick buildings that I'm going to be nerd here. The red brick buildings are technically illegal in California, or they don't rebuild them because of seismic earthquake issues.
Okay.
And so you don't see that. And I got on campus and I just fell in love with the history of Civil War battle and red brick buildings and the way the girls looked and the way the girls talked and then SEC baseball. And so Bama offered me, and I said yes. I wanted to go, and so it was childhood dreams come true. We weren't ranked going into that first year. I was a relief pitcher, and then I started to, I'll say, get hot by the end of the season, started to really take form, and my velocity picked up and that sort of thing. I started game 1 of the 96 College World Series. We're ranked number 1 in the country, and my Little League team, Bama Baseball, my Little League team's ranked number 1, and I'm like the starting pitcher, and I'm just like, okay, I'm blown away. And so my girlfriend was in the stands with my parents. She's still my girlfriend. We just happened to be married for 24 years, and so at any rate, it was childhood dreams come true, and then Matt transferred, and Matt married a Bama swimmer, and then our little sister came, and she married a boy, now man, from Gulf Shores, and
So
So
everybody
now the
from
whole
Bama,
family back in Bama now.
yeah,
The whole family.
Whole
Yes.
family. Well, Matt lives in Chattanooga.
Well, yes, but I
Okay,
mean
that's
everybody's back in the
But
South.
we're all
I
in the
guess.
South, and my parents have retired to the South, and
Oh,
so
wow,
so we're
okay.
all here. So
Awesome.
it was the, I'll say, the culture change that I was looking for. California is an amazing place, but from raising a family and being
Yeah.
here, this is what we wanted.
That's exciting.
Thank you.
So y'all met, you got married,
Yes.
and then when did the wine kind of trickle itself into your lives?
Okay, so I'll say this. We were young and married with kids. So we didn't really have the funds or the ability to travel a lot or to get babysitters all the time. So we started sort of our date night was learning about wine. We would travel the world through wine. So we got a book at Barnes & Noble. That was back in the day. And we would, say, oh, let's learn about wine from Italy. And so we would try something that night from Italy. So that's how the journey started of us liking wine. When we got a little older and the kids got a little older and we were able to, we traveled to, of course, California and Italy and France, and were able to travel around and drink wine. And so that's kind of how we started falling in love with it. We just love learning about it, honestly, and we're still learning.
Yeah.
And so I came to Andy a couple years ago and said, okay, I have an idea. I want to start a wine company. And we're entrepreneurs. We have some other businesses. So it wasn't totally out of left field. And I'll say this about Andy. He usually doesn't shoot me down. He was like, okay, I'm in, but we live in Alabama, and I know the wine you're going to want. We can't grow those grapes here. And not only that, we're not farmers, and we could kill a silk plant. So how are we going to do this? And I said, don't worry. I've done a lot of research. There are people out there that are farmers, and that is their gift. And they are amazing at growing grapes. And a lot of farmers just sell their grapes off to people who will blend wine.
Yeah.
And then there are people that are winemakers, and those are the artists. Those are the people that we can go to and say, okay, here's what we want. Here's our flavor profile. Here's exactly what we want it to taste like. Can you help create this for us? And they know the right combinations of vineyards and grapes and different things to put together to make those blends for us. So that's what we had to do, is put together the right team.
Okay.
That's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating, because that's something that my husband and I have, I guess we're kind of following the footsteps, is we are very curious about wine, and when you know nothing, you have to start somewhere.
Yes.
And it's so big, and it can be very intimidating and overwhelming.
Absolutely.
But the little by little you learn. But that's one of the things that we talk about, is the different vineyards and the different soils. I think they call it terroir.
Terroir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it depends on what direction it faces. It will change the flavor profile of the grapes and stuff.
Yes.
So I would really like to know more about the process of y'all finding someone to even start that.
To get your flavor notes that you were saying that you liked.
Yes.
So to get there, how did you know, like, obviously you have a rosé and a cab.
Yes.
Currently with your brand.
Correct.
So is that something y'all's favorite wines that y'all wanted to start with?
I wanted to start with a rosé. That is one of my favorite wines. And rosé is just hot right now. Everybody's drinking rosé. So when I first came to Andy, that's what I said is, I want to start with the rosé.
Yeah, I want to start with a French rosé. It wasn't any rosé. It was like, I want to start with a French rosé.
Speaking of, we're drinking that right now, and I have never had your wine before until now. This is delicious.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, cheers.
Yes.
But this is delicious. Like,
well, thank you.
She's more of the wine person in our group. I like rosé and I like sparkling wine.
Okay.
Not really into the red wines, but obviously I have not tried y'all's. It's just more, it makes me go.
You just have to learn.
Right.
That's
And
what
pair it
everyone
with the
says.
right
Yeah.
food and all that for a lot of things. So
if I could back up,
Yeah.
and that's part of our story as well, is that when we were dating, I was a soft drink guy. I was Diet Coke, Diet Mountain Dew, that kind of thing. And so we would go date. Kristen would have a glass of red wine, and I'm over here with a soft drink. And so okay, now we're adults. Now we're married. You know, Katie's here. Child number 2 is here. We're, got a real job. We're out of college. And I'm like, I'm a terrible date. I need to be better at this. And so that's why in Nerd World, I just went to Barnes & Noble and just got Books of the World to try to figure this out. And it told us, and I'll tell you this for your journey, start with the type of beverage that you like. And so it compared. So if you are a sweet drink person, start with wines that are sweet. And so for me, I was a girl drink drunk, okay? I love girl drinks, okay? If it had an umbrella and it was sweet, it was mine. And so that's just who I was. So I started in the ice wines, the Gewürztraminers, the Rieslings, the Viogniers, some of those other sweeter wines that we honestly don't drink now. And we look at them, we're like, wow, that is perfect for a dessert. And so we know now what we pair them with. As our palate has changed in 15 years, we've learned what's for the right time. And so I'll say this for now, and advice to y'all, we never have a perfect, this is the only thing we drink wine. Yes, we have released a Cabernet, and we tried to pick a flavor profile that we'll get into, a flavor profile that the masses would like, but we are still on a Friday or Saturday night, okay, what do you want to have? Well, what are we eating? Are we sitting outside? What's the weather like? Are we going to get into bottle number 2 tonight? And so there's all these conversations that tell us, okay, what are we going to do? And if we're sitting outside, fun, flirty, sunlight, toes in the sand, whatever, that's a completely different choice than if, okay, we're going to have burgers tonight, or we're going to have a steak or chicken or
that
fish.
That is so true.
And
I like that you said that. Like that's completely true. Like, because I think where my wine came from, obviously box wine in college.
Right.
Because that's what everyone's like, we're just here to get drunk as quick as we can.
Right.
And can't afford the expensive wine at the time,
Of course.
But yeah, so I think that's a good thing that you point out, like, depends on your mood and what you're going for. Because my ex-boyfriend, huge wine person, like, could tell you, God, so much about wine. Because he'd always be like, what do you want to drink? I'm like, just pick something. I don't even know. I don't even care. Like, just do it.
Got it.
So you started with the rosé and the cab, but like she was saying, how did you, like, the process that you chose, like, so do you, let me see if I'm asking this right. Because like you said, there's the artists that do the grapes, and then the farmers. Do you go to them and then they?
So here's that story.
It's a journey.
Yes,
Okay.
it was quite a journey. So again, we knew we wanted to start with the rosé. We already had a trip planned to France that spring, and we contacted one of our friends there that lives in southern France, and we kind of told him what our goal was when we got down there to the Provence region. We said we want to meet some wineries. This is what we want to do. We want to see if we can meet some people,
and maybe one of these. And so when we had scheduled this vacation, and we were going to go to all the wine regions of France plus one, Cognac, but we could talk about that separately. And so in planning of that, we reached out to our private wine tour guide for Provence, and who is now a great friend of ours, and said, all right, we're looking to start this business. 10 minutes ago, we were just 4 people that came on a train. He was going to pick us up and drive us around to like 4 or 5 different wineries and plan lunch and that sort of thing. And here I am sending him an email saying, okay, we're looking to start this company. It's Cotes De Femme. And we're interested in possibly learning about these people, or would they be interested in a private label arrangement that we taste their wine and then talk about business afterward? If not, we just want to learn. And so it changed all of us in us, meaning the Bernards, as to how we wanted to take this trip, because we were looking at it with a different eye. We weren't just going there to say like, "Ooh, I enjoy the terroir," and "Ooh, this is how you age in French oak," or yada yada. It was more of, okay, we're paying attention to what is this family like? What is their production level like? Are these the type of people that and we'll get into it. French marketing is wildly different than American marketing, and nod to Emily in Paris, because Netflix got it exactly
So
right.
funny
That's
story.
how it is.
Her husband worked in Paris for a really long time.
So my husband works for a French company.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is something that I wanted to ask you guys, because when I was talking to my husband, and the same thing, we watched that, and he would start giggling, and I'm like,
Yes.
"What are you giggling about?" And he's like, "That's exactly how it goes."
They got it
down."
right. Yes.
So I'm somewhat familiar with the French culture,
I'm not. I've never been.
but
And we don't speak French.
neither do we. So, but I guess what is there? What was quirky about it?
Well, what is so funny is, like, when you watch that show, you see
Yes.
that in France, style and fashion is very forward thinking.
Yes.
The wine industry is not. It's very old man. It is
Wow.
very, this is the way we've done it for hundreds of years. This is all we're going to do. It's a white label slapped on a bottle.
And if you don't like it, F off. And,
Yes.
and that's just how they are. And
Yes,
so
they do not care.
They love their wine, though. Like,
oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
They do.
And they're really good at that. And so what we're sharing is the idea that when this was born, we wanted to create a lifestyle brand. That's really the driving force behind the marketing that Kristin and daughters do, is that we're a lifestyle brand that wants to put a smile on someone's face. We want to empower people. We want to
Wine is more than a beverage. It's the way you live.
Exactly
Yeah.
right. And,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the marketing needs to match that. And because let's all be honest, when you walk into a wine shop or a grocery store, you're judging a book by its cover. You have
totally buy
no
a bottle
idea.
of wine based on what it looks like.
Absolutely.
Exactly
So
right.
do I.
It could taste like shit.
So do I.
And I'm
So
like,
do
this
I.
bottle's pretty. Let's
Yes.
try it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But how many times have you bought that bottle of wine, got home, and it did taste like shit?
Yes.
And you were like, this
Yes.
is not my
Yeah,
go-to
that's
bottle.
not
I'm not
it.
going to buy this again.
Yes.
So that was, we wanted to create a beautiful bottle,
Which it
which
is very
is
beautiful.
completely
It
different than
is.
French marketing. So they all
Yes.
thought we were crazy. They still think we're crazy.
That's fine.
But in a
they
good
laugh
way.
at us.
But in a good way.
In a good way. And so we began creating this bottle, and then we wanted the juice, of course, in the inside to be just as beautiful as what's on the outside, just like a person.
I love it.
So, so kind of to go back to our journey of figuring out this wine, of course, we were going over to France. We also began some wine tastings with our friends. So if you've never done this is actually a lot of fun.
This is a ton of
We knew
fun.
we wanted rosé, and we knew we wanted it from Cotes De Provence, France. So we went to the store and we bought 10 bottles, 15 bottles at a time, and
Different
would
labels.
have everybody over, and we'd all taste, and we'd all write down or talk to each other. What did they smell like? What did they taste like? What did we taste? And it's so funny because sometimes when you buy a bottle of wine by itself, you take it home and you drink it, you think, oh, well, this is good. When you taste it next to another one, you realize the differences. And
Yes.
maybe that one you thought you liked for so long isn't that great. Now that I've had this one, I like this one better. So that helped us develop our flavor profile. We knew kind of exactly what we were looking for.
While so it's June, we've formed the LLC, we're working on the licensing, we're researching and talking to a ton of people, we're doing these tastings, and we're just trying to figure it out. And so we
thought we had a partnership.
We thought we had, through the wine tour guide's girlfriend who did graphic design for wine labels for this co-op where they buy grapes from a bunch of different vineyards and then they produce wines for other companies. And one of those companies was Florida Mare, which is like the
Gallo.
Gallo.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
Gallo
Huge
owned.
wine
Yeah.
brand.
Yeah.
And so it's amazing, and it was one of our favorites, absolute favorites. Well, they told us that we had to wait for harvest to find out what the quality and the volume of harvest would be before
Yeah.
they would decide to take on our project.
We were so small that they obviously had other projects they were committed to and had been committed to for
Yeah.
years. They were in contract with that had, way more volume than us. So we had to wait.
So we did wait, and then come to find out it didn't work out. So now here we are in
And
September.
kind of as the process went on too, as we showed them our bottle or told them what we wanted to do with the bracelet, which we'll talk about the bracelet in a little bit, but just some of the things we wanted to do, even the color of the capsule, we kept getting well, maybe not this year. Well, no, there was a lot of no's.
Yeah.
And we just kept feeling like maybe this isn't our perfect match, but what are we going to do? And so I'll back up. A year before that, Andy and I had gone to the Beyonce Jay-Z concert in Nashville.
I love this.
And
oh my God, y'all are my soul people. Oh my God. Okay.
And so before
Great
the concert,
concert. Oh
yes,
my goodness, great
amazing
concert.
And before the concert, we had gone to this restaurant. We had a beautiful charcuterie and this bottle of rosé that was amazing. I think we even got into a second bottle. Anyway, it was a fantastic night. We had so much fun. But before we left Nashville the next day, we said, let's go to a wine shop and find that bottle. It was so good. We had bought it. We brought it home. We stuck it in our wine fridge, and we'd forgotten about it until now. This Saturday afternoon, we were kind of going back to the drawing boards.
It was weekday drinking. It was a weekday low moment.
Maybe
I promise
it was.
you.
Maybe it was.
It was a
Yes.
weekday low moment.
We
Not
said-
all weekdays are day drinking, but I can tell you this one was.
Listen, if I'm not at work at the hospital, I'm probably drinking.
So Andy's to the point where he's like, okay, we're going to plan a trip and we're going to go to France and we're just going to meet people and we're going to knock on doors. And I'm like, whoa. What, we're just going to go up to somebody and knock on their door and say, can you make me some wine? Can I have your wine?
Yes.
Like,
Sure.
This is
Yes.
not how it's going to work.
Yes,
but
we were. We
that's
were
how
cutting-
crazy he was getting. And I was like, okay.
Crazy.
So
That's
we were like,
dedication
wife's
toward
like-
my wife.
That's
Wife's
right.
like, let's reel it back in a little bit.
So we decided to get some inspiration. We were like, let's drink some rosé. So he pulls out this bottle, we'll call it our Beyonce Jay-Z bottle, and opens it up, and we taste it, and we're like, this is so good. This is one of the best wines we've ever had. Now we know why we liked it so much. So now we're, I don't know, almost done with the bottle. We turn the bottle over, and there's a guy's phone number on the back, so we drunk call him. And come to find out, this man is a Frenchman who actually lives in the United States, who helps create wine.
Oh
He's a
my
winemaker.
God, that is amazing.
And helps
He-
people like us.
He imports.
So
meet
and
essentially, Beyonce and Jay-Z got your wines.
That's
started.
right.
That's
That's
right.
right. That's right.
That's right. We owe it to them.
No royalties.
They should have claimed that a long time ago.
They
Sorry,
have other
statute of
deals going.
limitation is gone.
That's right.
So he connected us with several vineyards over in France. They sent us some samples based on what we told them our flavor profile was, exactly what we wanted. And he was also, because he knew what we liked, was able sort of to talk to them as well about exactly what we wanted.
That's amazing.
And that's kind of how Cotes De Femme was born.
Yep.
That
And
is
so
amazing.
It was. We got matched up. I say matched up. It's more of a God thing of fate and that sort of thing. But the winery is Chateau de Bourmet. It's about a half mile off of the Mediterranean Sea. And so when you drink this, you can actually, when you put it next to others, we know what we're going after and smell, but you can taste some of the salinity when compared to some other wines that are more inland. And so to me, this reminds me of citrus blossoms, honeysuckle, and then a little of the minerality of that type of soil, and then you get some of the
This is a
salinity.
very clean, crisp, like smooth taste to me, like very like palatable.
Thank you.
Because again, like I'm not a big wine person other than rosé or sparkling wine, which like I go through either prosecco or rosé. It just depends on what I'm going through at the moment.
Understand.
But like so, like I know a lot of friends here that'll do Whispering Angel.
Uh-huh.
That I used to think was amazing. Like you said, this probably go to.
Thank you so
no,
much.
no
Thank
lie.
you.
Like
Thank you
I'm
so
not even
much.
kidding. Like this is really good.
Well, and Laura mentioned the terroir. So after being there, you can actually, to us, we can taste that. We can
Yeah.
taste what it's tasted like, what it smelled like to stand there in that vineyard next to the Mediterranean.
Oh, I
and
love
so
that.
wine to us also brings back memories of
Yeah,
places
absolutely.
we've been.
Absolutely.
So
Well, it's more of a
Camaraderie.
yes.
I never speak.
Yes.
It's like I'm always having a stroke, but no, it's almost like that. Like you remember things, like you said, like getting together. Are you having a night out on the patio? I mean, COVID, obviously, but no, I think that's an amazing thing, and that's something I did want to ask you because we were talking about the process yesterday. Because I know a lot of celebrities now are like putting their name on bottles and stuff like that, and they're not really going through the process. Do y'all find that to be a little like you're just kind of like? I mean, obviously, they're doing what they need to do.
Y'all
to make
have
money.
had to put the work in.
Yeah, like y'all are actually in the grind doing the work versus someone just being like, oh, just do it and I put my name on it and then they make a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
There's enough room for everybody.
Yeah.
That's what I say. I'm sure there's some Frenchmen that look down upon us because we didn't like grow these grapes in our very own backyard either. So, you know, there's room for everybody.
Well, because when you think about like wine and stuff like that, you think about like the Lucille Ball episode where like they're crushing grapes with their feet.
Yes.
So y'all aren't doing that.
No, we have not done that. Now we have gone over there for the bottling, and this year we're going to go over there for the blending in November, and
that's
so
so
we'll actually be a
cool.
part of this process as well of getting
Wow.
to taste and
I'll
the
say
way.
for those big companies, they pave the way where our checkbook can't help pave the way into the market, whether that's market exposure
absolutely.
for rosé. We drink rosé year round. And so rosé for us is one of those things that it's the mood, not necessarily the season. Well, the world doesn't think about it like that. And so the more exposure that those other companies can do, the big companies, we're happy about that. And it might be that, you're a retailer, you don't want to have just one rosé up on the shelf.
Yes.
And so here we are with a package that looks like a gift. We've got bling on it. We've got these other things. And so it's that other wine company, that big dog, that got us in the door. And then we're just coming over here just to take up our little 4 inches of space on the shelf and just be our little family brand. And so that's important to us.
Yes.
And so I'm, you look at it and say they're going to sell 1 million cases this year, and we just want to sell 800. You know what I mean? But at the same time, their 1 million cases
Y'all are
created the brand exposure to help us just get in the door where someone else says, I like that flavor profile.
Well, like you said, Whispering Angel. Someone said, you've tried Whispering Angel.
Yes.
Now you're like, I think I like rosé. I'll go try some others.
Yes,
That's right.
true. But I see you're kind of looking at it as more of a positive thing versus being disgruntled about it and saying, well, this sucks because you didn't even put in work like I did. You're just like, you know what? Put in that work.
It
'Cause
helps you.
I'm happy
it
about
gives
it.
me
I mean,
exposure.
Yep.
think about
Absolutely.
being a small boat behind a cruise ship
Yeah.
and the waves that you won't have to take down, and they're
That's a
taking down
great way
those
to look at
waves,
it.
Yeah.
and so that's kind of honestly how we
Yeah.
look at it. It doesn't always feel good. There's some
Yeah.
other things in the business that we go through that the big dogs create waves for us, but at the same time, we're happy where we're at.
Well, I'm going to be super honest. I'm not a rosé person because normally they're too acidic for me.
Okay.
This is so smooth.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thank
it
you.
is.
It
It's like
is
a
delicious.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's more of a red wine drinker.
I am.
Yeah.
So, and actually, a local chef described this as a red wine drinker's rosé. It's got enough Grenache in it that it's bold.
Yes.
And it's also got some Cinsault. And then the Rolle Vermentino is that grape that's going to give it that little bit of softness and silkiness at the end.
Little velvet.
Okay,
So
what
this-
is Cinsault?
It's a grape.
It's another grape.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a stupid question,
Okay.
probably, because I'm
No.
not a big wine. So you chose France
Yes.
versus California.
Correct.
For the
So
rosé.
you're from California.
Correct.
So would you not want home roots because California is where all the vineyards are?
I might be offending some of your listeners. They're not the same rosé.
Okay. I
They're
mean,
just,
I honestly
in
don't
our
know.
in our opinion, this sounds so elitist. It's not the same class of rosé.
Okay.
Southern France just had the flavor profile for the rosé we wanted. And I think
Gotcha.
you're tasting that now.
Yeah.
If we had to, we could compare them next to each other. There's nothing wrong with California rosé. But for us, this was our favorite.
This is
so
what
this is
you
what we wanted.
liked. Yes.
Yep.
So I was just curious, choice wise.
Provence rosé is top of the line.
Okay, gotcha. So now let's go into the marketing a little bit because that's the first thing when you sent me your brochure and I went to the website. I just think your marketing is phenomenal.
Thank you.
So who does your marketing? Do you do it?
We do it all here.
Wow. Because the bottle, describe your bottle and your design and what you wanted from the beginning because you said you did the bottle first.
Yes. So what we wanted was just like we said, something that we all judge a book by its cover. When you walk into the wine store, you look at that and go, ooh, I want to try that. So I wanted something blingy on it. I wanted, so I was playing with different jewelry and different things. I wanted something on the bottle that just made it stand out on the shelf. As Andy says, I'm a little blingy. I can be a little extra.
She's not a little extra.
She's bougie.
She's
Yes, I'm a
very
little extra. So, and Andy said, I'd hate for us to get something, though, or put something on the bottle that they're just going to throw in the trash.
Yeah.
What if we could create something they could actually use?
love
And so
that.
he got to work on prototyping and designing what we call the bracelet that goes around the neck of the bottle. It's a rhinestone bracelet that you can actually take off and put on your stemware
So
to
cute.
decorate it.
We'll have to I'm going to take a picture of this and post it when I post your
Sure.
on my Instagram so that they can see what we're talking about.
Well, you're gonna have
Yes,
to take the bracelet with you.
Oh, okay.
Cheers to you. You have to, every bottle comes with a bracelet.
So this is our gift to the customer, and Andy worked really hard on that and actually has a patent on it now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we got through the
awesome.
process of making it work and having a manufacturer that makes it for us and that kind of thing. And then I went and did a patent search, and it came back empty. And I was like, file it. And so
Done.
came back. It was kind of a little bucket list thing that we have on that.
It's a
very
great
exciting.
way to keep it fresh in your mind and your memory.
Yeah.
Like when people are getting their glasses out and stuff, they're like, "Oh, I see you. I need to go get another
right.
bottle."
Yeah.
Yes,
That's exactly
yes,
right.
actually.
Let's talk about this lady on the bottle.
Okay.
What is that for the femme part?
So yes, that is, we call her the woman in the hat.
Okay.
She was actually designed by a Russian artist named Elena Namchenkova, and Andy found her online when looking for some things that we wanted, and we sort of had an idea in mind. He contacted her and said, can you design us, can you draw us a woman in a hat holding a wine glass in high heels? She does something called line art. And when you look at it, it's exactly what it sounds like. It is line art. It's not specific, because I wanted any woman to look at that and say, oh, that's me. When I have on my hat and my heels and I got my glass of wine in my hand, that's
I'm a
me.
badass bitch. I got my rosé in my hand and my hat on my head.
That's right. And Cotes De Femme literally translates sides of woman. So representing all the many shapes, curves, tones, and types of women.
Love that.
And
Do I get
Andy,
to say my part?
yes, you can say
it
yours.
also,
Can I talk?
This is the part I got to write. It represents the mystere of a woman, the infinite facets of her being, the parts that we'll never understand, just cherish and love. And so there's I wanted it to also be a part of celebrating the male perspective of the wine, of the rosé. And so it's one thing to look at it. There's a lot of men right now. Rosé purchases are about 51% women, 49% men, but it's consumed almost dead on 50-50. And so men are drinking as much rosé as women, but the women are just slightly buying it more. And so I wanted men to walk in there and say, oh, I need that bottle for my girl. And I wanted them to be able to flip it over and say, this isn't girly. Oh, this represents why I like her. This is, or their significant other if it's.
Yeah.
I love how thoughtful y'all are about every detail.
There's we say this is nerd, okay? Yeah. It's the why behind the what.
Yeah.
And so you should always have a why behind the what you do.
Well, I was telling her yesterday, like, I've never seen it marketed the way y'all do, because y'all had posted, I can't remember what day, but like the brosé.
Yes.
Like, and I've never seen, I was like, that is genius, because men are like, yeah, it's brosé, not rosé. Hush it up. Like,
That's
like
right.
your bro talks with Botox, you know. I was
Yes.
like, that is genius to be like brosé, whatever. And I love that y'all have men in pink jackets drinking. I'm like, that is just boss. Like, love it.
Thank you. Thank
Seriously.
you.
So if you're doing all your marketing, girl, you got it. Because
Thank you so much.
it's so good.
Thank you.
So good.
Thank you. So then, of course, after the rosé, we developed the cab. So the cab is from California, because you mentioned that. We kind of were, are we going to stay in France for our red wine? We love red wine, as we mentioned before. Are we going to stay in France? Are we going to we even talked about doing South America. But we just kept coming back to a California cab, and so that started that flavor profile beginning.
From a business perspective, the rosé is a little bit seasonal, like we talked about. And so there's still the element of toes in the sand, or just at the beach, or just daytime, or that kind of thing. And so to bring out your second label, you want something that becomes a little bit more year-round, a little bit more feed the masses sort of thing. And so what we did, and we talk about the marketing side of the why behind the what. So I tell our love story, kind of how we like to date, is we're going to have fun all day. We're outside, we're fun, flirty, we're rosé. That's our day date. And then you women go get ready for the nighttime, and all of a sudden you come out of the bathroom and you're wearing just this velvet. And so she's in an actual velvet dress. If you didn't know, the wine bottle is in a velvet dress. And so I look at it and say, oh my God, that's my girl. And so that's what we wanted for the Cabernet from a packaging perspective, is to say she's fun, flirty, blingy, extra outside, and now all of a sudden here's this elegant woman at night. And so that's why we packaged that. You want to talk about flavor profile?
Sure,
or do you want me to
As far as flavor profile goes, you guys were mentioning before that you don't love a red wine.
Yeah.
We love a red wine. We love big, bold, thick reds, but we know not everyone does.
Yeah.
So we wanted to create something that is still a cab, but it's approachable, is what we call it. So you can pop it open, you can drink it right then, does not have to decant. What we like to say is we drink it while we're cooking, but then it also tastes good with the food as well.
Okay. So I've also noticed, I follow a lot of Instagram people, and then, you have the Christina Cavallari of everything that like does dry wine, organic wine that no one adds sugar to. Mm-hmm. Does your company add sugar to the wines to give it a different flavor profile?
No, it does not.
So
nothing extra
hangovers will
added.
not be crazy ridiculous.
Correct.
no.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
that's
tested.
amazing. Oh, there you go. She's like, trust me. It's tested and
It's
we
tested.
know.
Very tough.
No, we do not add any sugar to it. It is all natural. We're not certified organic or anything like that. Our rosé is sustainably grown again,
cool.
but we
Yes.
have not paid for the extra certifications.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. And then let's see, I did have a question. I've been to a couple wine tastings with my aunt, and they always talk about like the swirl, like how you swirl it, smell it. I'm going to say all this wrong and butcher it, but like in the stems that fall down the wine
legs.
glass. Yes. So can we talk a little bit about that? So if you're drinking your wine at home and somebody
I'll
wants
let
to
Andy
feel
go
fancy,
into that. He likes to describe that. He
I
does a
love to
good
talk
job
about
of
legs. Yeah, here we go. Now I know why I'm here today, right? So do you want to talk about how to approach the rosé or the cab? And
either or,
so-
like if I'm trying to feel fancy at home instead of just drink it to get drunk. I mean, you know.
Okay, so if you're not drinking it to get drunk, then go a very light pour.
Okay.
Okay, you want to have as much surface area of the wine swirling around in the glass, which opens the bouquet.
Okay.
Okay, and so you want to be able to get it up, get the legs up onto the sides of that glass, and then you're going to put your nose way in there, and you're just going to enjoy whatever the flavors are that come to you. What you smell might be different than someone else. Okay, and so it's individual to you. So that is a tasting wheel, and that is also the aroma wheel, where every flavor that might be in the wine is going to be in there. And so when we go do a tasting of a bunch of different things, or we're trying a new blend, then this is where we're going to say, like, okay, does that smell like, if we're talking about a red, is that blackberries, or is that red berries? Is that fruit forward? Does that taste like, do I smell leather and cigar and earthiness or peat moss or chocolate or cigar, or those things? And so for a rosé, I'll say our rosé, being from Southern California, our rosé smells like citrus blossoms. Kristin has never smelled that. She's from Mobile, Alabama. We lived for years in Jacksonville, Florida. I remember as a kid going to school and we're driving through the citrus fields, and there's that smell of just citrus blossoms. I smell honeysuckle. I won't say lemongrass, but there's a little bit of a grassy earthiness to me that is that waxy feel if you eat blades of grass. And so to me, this is how I get into it. I take things to a nerd level, and I'm really sorry.
No, that's
No,
fine.
it's appreciated.
And so for me, that's where when we wrote our tech sheet, which is in the business, people want to know what is your flavor profile, and they're going to ask you to describe it in 96 characters or less, or things like that. We went way off the reservation, and we wrote it as the story of this woman, of how she approaches the wine, not as we say a paper label or old men drinking wine. I'm sorry to say that. I don't mean to offend them, but from our perspective, this is a story of how you approach the wine and how it affects you. That's what a lifestyle brand of wine would be. And so we look at it and say, you're going to smell it first. And that's where you're going to realize that your wine is matching your atmosphere.
Okay.
And then you start to drink it, and you start to realize that, like, okay, I've escaped. I'm a school teacher. I just had the most stressful day trying to teach 6th grade math, and these kids do not want to learn 6th grade math. No one wants to learn 6th grade math. And so I just need to escape for just a few moments. And so I'm going to come home, and I'm going to take off my heels. Not me, but you're going to take off your bra, and you're going to pour yourself a glass of rosé, and you're going to try to empower yourself and recharge for tomorrow. And so those are the things that we wanted
People to taste and think and feel while they're drinking the wine.
And realize. And I'll say not every retailer or wholesaler really gets that, but I'll tell you that the customers really gravitate toward, why am I doing this? How am I doing this? And then how did the flavors come to me? When we tasted Chateau de Bourmet, we knew right then, this is it. This is what it tastes like. And then when we met them, and you realize this family that is growing on these 80 hectares, and there's 1,000-year-old cork oak tree there, and you can see the Mediterranean, and you're just looking at, you're just like, I want to be here forever, and this I don't ever want to go home. You start having these thoughts, and so I tell her it's the Jimmy Buffett effect of, I don't know the reason I stayed here all season. You know what I mean? Like, if you go to the Keys, you start to realize, like, do I really need to go back? Is there life really? Could I? So that's the rosé. That is the atmosphere that we want to get. When we got to the cab is a little bit not more difficult, but cabs can get so expensive so fast, and so have we ever? We may or may not have enjoyed a $300 Cabernet before. You know what I mean? And it was worth every penny of that. And yes, those $75 cabs are amazing.
But just like we said, approachable. We want something that more people can enjoy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right. And so we went to facilities, wineries, custom crush facility. A custom crush is a facility that doesn't grow the grapes. They buy the grapes and then they make great wine. Okay. And so Owl Ridge Wine Services is who we work with on the Cabernet, and they are not a farm. But they are amazing artists and winemakers. And so we went, we got 36 different blends to be able to get to this flavor profile,
wow.
get to this blend. This is only made for us. And so this is the 2018 vintage of Alexander Valley.
So Alexander Valley, for those of you that don't know, is, you're familiar with Napa Valley,
Yes.
Napa,
Yes.
and you're familiar with Sonoma. Alexander is the small little region right between the two of them.
Okay.
So it's kind of got the perfect marriage of both, that deep
Okay.
Napa and sort of the lightness of the Sonoma as well.
And so we shared, we kind of, you're writing, for us, we're typing out our love of wine, of what we want, and I'm happy to open a bottle of Cab if you want to taste that right now as well.
I'll taste
I
it.
will never say no.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
got it.
Well, if we need to put it on pause for a minute and
We can
open
put
some
it on
Cab, we
pause.
can do that.
Well, before we pause it, I did
Okay.
want to ask, so just for me, because I can't remember. So when the stem or the legs are coming down the glass, depending on how wide or fast they go, there's something that means.
That's part of the tannins.
Okay.
And so that will also give you described earlier, like how it,
Yeah.
your mouthfeel of how it grabs, it has texture to the inside of your mouth. That is part of the acidity,
Okay.
but the tannins also have a little bit of the complexity and the layers that you're enjoying.
Okay, because I
You're
remember
experiencing.
like being at a winery and they told me, I wasn't paying attention. I was like,
Right.
Just taste this. Yeah.
Right.
just
Here we
give me
go.
the wine. Can we not talk about this and just give me the wine? But we're going to pause for a brief break and we will be right back with some more information. All right, we are back. We got some Cab poured. So we are going to taste this for the first time because me or Lauren have not had this, and give you our perspective and see what we think is in it, and then you tell us what's in it.
Okay.
And
No
I can
problem.
kind of walk us through.
Yeah.
So when you're at a restaurant and they pour and they ask one person,
You do that.
one thing that we learned this is like social media, is like swirl it on the table. I don't know why, but this is what the Psalms do. Oh, thank you, Miss Lauren. Thank you.
So good.
Your facial expression is amazing. She tasted early. She tasted early.
I'm
She
waiting.
skipped the smelling and the.
Help myself.
I'll let you describe.
It smells like alcohol.
Okay, so you might smell some berries on the nose.
It does smell like berries. I want to say leather, but it's not really like a leather smell.
Go on.
It smells more manly to me. I don't know why.
Earthy,
Yes.
a little earthy.
Yes.
Blackberries.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, it just smells like a man.
Definitely
Yeah.
a black fruit. Yes.
Okay, now I'm going to taste it. I'm not a red wine
It's
drinker, guys.
okay. It's
Go,
okay.
go. Whatever
We are
happens,
not
happens.
offended.
It's
Whatever
so
happens.
good.
We are not offended.
Okay, that's not bad because I didn't go.
So another thing
That's
you're
really
going to
not
find
bad.
on the back end is like a little green pepper.
Okay.
So you mentioned
This is actually
terroir.
not bad.
Yes.
So that is
the
going to
terroir
come.
of the Alexander Valley. It has a red volcanic soil that brings that green pepper spice on the back end, and so it's known for that. We're very excited to have that because it's a bit fruit forward. A little fruit on the front end, little berry, dark berry on the front end, and then you drink it, and it's an earthy Cab without being overpowering earthy.
There's something almost like kind of smoky about it.
Yeah,
It's that little bit of spice on the back.
Oh.
Eight-
It's good.
or 18 months in French oak. That'll
Yeah,
I was
help
about
with
to
that
ask
as
you
well.
about the barrels. I was about to say, does that make a difference when people like do it in
Huge
like
difference.
smoked barrels versus
Exactly
oak
right.
barrels? And then someone just told me recently that there's a wine company now doing it in tequila-based barrels.
Oh, there's tons. Everyone's doing things. In fact, there's a wine company that they, more than wine, I think it's a spirits company, but they actually put their juice in the barrels and then it ages at sea with the motion of the ship coming across the ocean.
Oh yeah, that's a Scotch. I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyway,
Yeah,
yes.
we just failed. But at any rate, the type of wood, the age of wood, you'll hear people talk about new oak. You'll hear people talk about aged oak, charred oak, a medium toast of the oak, American oak, French oak, Spanish oak. You'll hear a bunch of different. It's how the artist the winemaker wants to put the flavors together and then say, okay, I want it for this period of time because I know it's going to do this to it, and then modify it and then pull it out, put it back in. And so this blend right here, when we did our tasting in July, the Cabernet was released first week in November last year. Okay. And so we're not a year old on this.
November what? Because my birthday is in November, so I just need to know.
I'll say the
basically
first.
The month of.
Yeah, I was going to say basically.
It was on your birthday, whenever your
that.
birthday was. That is when the wine came out.
on?
November 9th.
There you go. That's when the wine came out. It was
November
November
9th
9th.
to the world.
All right, people.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
birthday.
First tasted the blend, they put it back into the barrels until we bottled. And so it got like another 30, 40 days in the barrel before we bottled. We bottled the first week of October.
And did it change the profile enough that you could tell?
Yes. Yes, slightly.
Let me say this. To us, no. To the winemaker, yes. He knew.
We could taste a bit of a difference.
I was, okay, she says that.
So your wife could, because she's a wine
connoisseur.
I cannot say that word.
Yeah, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it probably rounded it out just a little bit at the end, and so the winemaker could tell. I'm amazed at their ability, even like a psalm. I'm amazed at their ability to be able to recall smells and tastes and be able to place it with known facts of vintage or grape or vineyard or family name, that sort of thing.
My husband and I, we get nerdy, and so we've watched all like the Psalm
Yes.
movies,
Yeah.
documentaries. Like, that's what we do at night when the kids are in bed and we have our bottle or two. We like to watch all those things. But it is, and what I remember one guy describing one of the wines as like a rubber hose.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
And I'm like, what?
I remember that. Right. Those are so fun
Like a
to watch,
garden
but they
hose.
give you anxiety, that they're going out for this,
Oh my
this
gosh,
test
it is
and
so
all of
serious.
that. Yes.
It is so serious.
Yes.
And y'all can sit there and nerd out about that, but I'm over here thinking like these people who got COVID who couldn't taste or smell probably hated their life at the
Can you
time.
imagine if you were a psalm and got COVID?
No.
How awful would that be?
Yeah, because some people say they're not getting it back.
Rough.
I know that was a little jab in there, but I was like, y'all are over here talking about this, but this is what I'm thinking in my mind.
Well, that's what you deal with during the day. That's, you know. So, well, okay. So one of the questions that we had when we took a break was, what are your day jobs right now?
What are your day jobs?
I work in the fitness industry, so I am a trainer and fitness instructor. I teach spin. I teach high intensity interval training classes. I developed a bungee program here in Huntsville, and actually created an instructor program. And we're the only bungee fitness instructor program that's certified through the National Association
Another
of Sports
podcast
Medicine.
coming to y'all.
And
She
Alpha.
published a book on the instructor manual.
Awesome. Yes.
Dead serious.
Yes.
And then what do you do?
I do several different things. One of our businesses, we have a spice rub company called Bernard Bayou. It's a chemical-free, low sodium, low sugar spice rub.
Okay.
We also have like a injection sauce that you can inject like a Cajun turkey, for
Okay.
Thanksgiving. But the spice rub we developed years ago, and so it's very interesting. We released the spice rub about the same time that we released the wine, and the two industries kind of played off of each other. Another day job, I'm a energy nerd, and so I've built buildings that have no power bill, and I'm a general contractor, and we do LED lighting and solar and that kind of stuff. And so from that nerd side, if we went to these wineries or even the grocery stores, the retail on the spice side, and said, hey, I'm a contractor that also does this other thing, they don't take you very seriously. But the wine industry, the alcohol industry took, you're already in the food world. The food people took us more seriously. You're already in the alcohol wine world. And so it's kind of interesting how
we didn't plan that at all. It just sort of
not at all.
happened that way.
Organically happened,
And so I, sort of an owner's rep, help develop buildings, and it's not our money that's developing the facility, but I've done a few different things. This is our love. This is where we want to
Your
go.
passion is the wine.
This is our passion, and this is we want to make this our day job, and with growth, it will.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that your wine is going to take off. Where can people find your wine? Like, is it worldwide yet, or is it just local to Huntsville, or is it in grocery stores?
We are national.
Oh, cool.
We are also international as of this year. We're in Bermuda.
Well,
Yay.
congrats.
Thank you. So we on our website, which is cotesdefemme.com, You can go to our shop page, type in your zip code, and find where it's sold near you in stores.
Perfect.
If we do not sell it in a store near you, you can order it online.
Okay.
Buy 4 bottles or more with the shipping code Bring Me Wine, and you'll get free shipping as long as wherever you live, we can ship wine to. Or
Yeah.
our company can ship
There's
wine
4
to.
states that still don't allow wine to get shipped in. Alabama
Alabama's one of
is
them.
technically one of them, but if you ship it to an ABC store, then you pay the state sales tax, and so there's a form, and anyone can reach out to us. I'll email you the form. You find your local ABC store, you fill out the information, and then it gets shipped, and you pay the sales tax. It's like 13 cents a bottle.
My husband's already looked up. Tennessee's good to go, so we're
Tennessee's
okay.
good. Yeah, Tennessee's fine.
And I
Yes.
only know that because I bought like a celebrity wine because I love the Bella Twins and they have a wine. And I had it shipped to the FedEx store that's like 30 minutes from Huntsville.
Okay.
It's in Tennessee or whatever. That's the only reason why I know that.
Yeah, like the wine clubs that we belong to out of Napa, we just have it shipped to the ABC store, and I go down there and swipe a debit card for like $1.30 and come home.
So
Oh,
if
okay.
you're in Huntsville, where can they find it?
So in Huntsville, you can get it at the Wine Cellar right here on Whitesburg. You can get it at Church Street Wine Shop. You can get it at the Fresh Market.
Yeah.
Windmill Beverage.
The Open Bottle, Mary's Grocery, County Line, and we're learning more all the time. There was one this weekend that we were like, oh, I didn't. Someone said, I bought a bottle here, and we're like, oh, great. We didn't know. And so another entire topic, and I don't mean to open up a can of worms or peel the onion, but we actually don't get to interface with the retailer. And so there is what's called a 3-tier system. And so we're tier 1, the supplier, the winery, the brand. We could be a beer or a spirit or a wine. We have to have a state licensed wholesaler that then sells to retail.
Okay.
And so there are accounts that we know that we're in, but there's also a salesperson for the wholesaler, which is tier 2, that goes out and just makes sales. And so next thing, we ask those wholesalers around the country to let us know the new account that they've set up, because we want people to be able to go to the website, put in their zip code, and know that their independent wine shop down the street is got the wine.
Well, and a lot of people don't understand. You can't just buy the wine directly from us. That would be illegal. There are some laws out there that basically are from prohibition, and
Yeah.
we are still following those laws today. And so they're different even in every state.
So how do you get your wine like in Target or Whole Foods, or how does that, is that the whole tier system that you have to go through?
No matter where our wine is sold, you have to go through the tier system.
Okay.
So we're tier 1. We have to sell it to a wholesaler that we have to be registered with in each state, or
Okay.
even regions of the state can be different. That wholesaler sells it to the retailer or
Okay.
a restaurant, and then they sell it to you, which is the reason wine is the price it is here in the United States. But you might go to the Italy, and their nicest bottle of wine on the menu at a restaurant's $12.
Yes, when we were in France, like you could go to like the little grocery store that's like convenience store and buy like an amazing $6 bottle of wine.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Yes.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, but
Thank-
due to prohibition, there's a
Thank
few
you.
people that have to
Thank
get.
you, 21st Amendment.
Yes.
So it's like, you know how like Whole Foods will have like, if you want something here, like suggest it. So like, let's say I go to our Whole Foods here in Huntsville and I'm like, hey, I want this wine here. Do they reach out to y'all and try to get it there like that?
We would love that.
Like,
Yes.
is that how it works?
We would love that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes
It's
it's bigger than that, but yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Because I know a lot of people, like, they'll say if you want something here, you have to do this request form and things like that.
Please fill out
Yeah.
1,000 of them and
Yes.
turn them in. Okay.
Yes, that would
Well,
be very helpful to us.
I want royalties. I'm just kidding. Just give me a bottle of wine. I'm good.
Done.
Okay, so one of my questions is, what food pairings would you do with each wine?
Ooh. Okay, so the rosé. I like salmon. I love a good charcuterie. What would you do, Andy?
When we
Even
build
pasta?
a charcuterie for a rosé tasting, I'll say that we put on probably a few different cheeses. So we'll put on a cow cheese, we'll put on a goat cheese, we'll put on some things that are sharp. We'll put on, I'll plug them. They're a small company, but Barely Buzzed has got a really good cheese that we buy. So cheeses go well. Cheeses and honey go well. I'll say that you don't necessarily need a fatty meat. So prosciutto is about as far as I would go. You start getting into the salamis or the capicolas, it's probably a little bit too far. I'm going way nerd on you right now.
No,
No,
this
no,
is fine.
no.
This is
But-
completely fine.
But I would also say go put some almonds, some Marconas, or you know what I mean, those on there. We also like to go put, the Italians call it rocket lettuce, but arugula.
It's arugula.
So go put some arugula on there.
A little bit of spicy.
Yeah, a little bit of spicy on that. That brings some things in, and then I'll say some grapes. That's what we do there. From a food perspective, you could probably do burgers or chicken, but definitely fish, definitely seafood, definitely the salmon, like Kristin talked about, on a salad, that sort of thing. That's on the rosé side.
Okay, red wine. We love burgers. We love it with steak. I actually love it with dark chocolate.
Yes.
Cigars.
Yes.
Have you ever paired red wine with a cigar?
I have, but I was really wasted.
That doesn't count. You lost your flavor profile at that
This
point.
was a bachelorette party, so we went down to sip, and we were doing cigars on the, and I was gone. I was obliterated. It was don't remember
That doesn't
a
count.
lot. So I was asleep half the time during the event. It's fine.
Sounds like a good evening.
Okay. I did have a question. How can you tell the notes of the wine? A follower reached out and says she wants to know like the notes. I don't even know what notes means, but she says she's always gotten confused when she's gone to a winery.
So the notes would be the flavors,
Okay, so
the
that's-
flavor
so
profile.
same
Yes.
so interchangeable word.
Right.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
just like we
And
said,
that's what that wheel is. You
Yeah.
can download that wheel off of winefolly.com.
So you can either
and
say
it's out
notes
there.
or flavors, and they're interchangeable words.
and
Exactly.
how I would answer her question is it's individual to her. So yes, it's going to say a certain flavor profile based on what we think it is. We think it tastes like berry on the nose or on the front end. I'm describing the red right now, and the little bit of green pepper spice on the back end. But she may taste that and go, okay, I taste the berries, but I also taste a little tobacco. I also taste a little leather. I also
Okay.
taste a little, some more dark fruit in there, plum or something like that. So
gotcha.
it's individual to you and what you taste and what you smell. And that's okay.
I will say one of the things that Josh and I have done is we downloaded Vivino. It's an
Yes.
app. And so like we'll get a few bottles of wine and we'll open one up. And then you take a picture of it in the app and then it brings up all the reviews and then you can see what other people noted. And so that's kind of how we've learned is seeing what other people have said and saying, can we taste that? Oh, wait a second. Yes, I do.
Yes, very good advice. We love Vivino. And rate us on Vivino.
Oh,
we
you're on there?
will.
Yes.
Okay.
We at a restaurant also do the same thing where we go there and we don't know the wine list, and so the
You're
server,
just reading the words.
We're just reading
what
all.
does this taste like?
What is it? And it's a family name.
Yeah.
It's whatever how much a bottle is, and so we'll get into Vivino and we'll go look them up and we'll go see what other people say about them. Something that is really fun to do when you're drunk is to go write the review while you're drunk on Vivino. Don't wait till tomorrow when your sanity has come
Because
back.
that's when you're honest.
And
Yes.
so,
That is when you're honest.
Yes, exactly right. I am writing just really sensual, and I'm like handing it to her, and she was like,
No.
"Yeah, send it." And so it's and so then we look at it like a year later, and we're like, "Can you believe what we just wrote about it?" And so
That was a good night.
it was great. Yeah,
exactly.
No, but it's at the restaurant. This is clean. This is family.
But it is also a great way to remember what you drank,
Yeah.
because then sometimes you do see something in a store and you go, have we had that before? And so it's great to look back into your own Vivino and say, oh, yes, that's the wine that we had at that restaurant, whatever.
Yes. So then you don't have to number one, if you wanted to do it again,
Yes.
or if you're like, we want to try something new, you already know what you've tasted.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, completely understand that. Definitely want to know because I'm a sparkling wine person.
Okay.
When is that coming out, guys?
Oh wow, wonderful story.
Yes, so we actually haven't announced this yet.
Is this breaking news?
Yes. This is breaking news. You'll hear it on the Babbles Nonsense podcast first.
Yeah.
I'll let
Go.
you say.
Go.
So we have actually gotten approved by the CIVC to produce a champagne from Champagne, France.
Oh my God.
So if you didn't know, Champagne, France is very exclusive and they do not let anyone in ever. And basically you had to have lived there for hundreds of years and have your own chateau there and all of that.
I just
Well-
got the chills.
Y'all are like, because I don't know what I love. I love the bubbles. I love the bubbles. I love the bubbles.
So we have connected with a family that actually thinks just same thing, loved us and thinks we're crazy at the same time, and can't wait to pair with us. And their names are the Bernards. And when we go in November, we're actually going to get to meet the Bernards. And
For the first time.
So this will be the Bernards and the Bernards produce Cotes De Femme. So in Champagne, you have to have a family name on the Champagne
The
label.
CIVC is like a governing body that's as powerful as a normal
exciting.
government. So if you remember earlier, maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, the CIVC made a ruling about a specific relationship change with Russia. Okay. And so
Okay.
basically all the wine that was going to, all the champagne that was going to Russia could not go to Russia anymore unless it met this other qualification, this different label on the back, that sort of thing. And so you can only call it a champagne legally. There are companies that don't necessarily follow that, but you can only call it a champagne legally if it is from Champagne, France, and has a family name on the label.
See, I knew that. So is that why?
So you were smart to call it sparkling or bubbles. That's what you
is
like.
that why a difference in like champagne versus the sparkling wine?
Exactly.
So sparkling wine isn't necessarily champagne because it's not from Champagne, France.
Correct. It could be
Gotcha.
made through basically the same process of producing the bubbles with the carbon
But they can't
dioxide and
call
all
it
that.
that.
But they cannot call it champagne unless it's from Champagne.
So when is this coming out?
It could be
guys?
about another year or
Yeah,
so.
we're hoping next year.
So I want y'all to release it next November 9th. And I will
next November.
celebrate my
Yes, ma'am.
birthday
That
with your
sounds perfect.
champagne.
Yes,
How does
ma'am.
that sound?
That sounds amazing.
I think you'll really love this one too because it's technically considered almost a natural or an extra brut. So
Oh my
it is
God, I'm so
very
excited.
light, and which means it has the least amount of sugar as possible.
See, have y'all ever heard of the champagne diet?
Yes.
Like they literally back in the day told people just literally they could have champagne at every meal.
Okay.
I'm in.
Sounds good.
When do we
Because
start that?
When we both get new jobs.
Yeah, I was gonna
Because
say.
my job will not allow me to drink that.
That's right.
That's like keto with a CH in front of it, right? You know, that's my kind of keto.
We're there. We get it. No, this has been wonderful. I've learned so much. I cannot wait to buy multiple bottles of this wine. And we'll just, during our podcast, we like to do a drink of the day. And we'll definitely shout y'all out every single podcast we have.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So we'll do another podcast.
Sure.
And pimp yourself out. Tell everyone where they can find you. Instagram, website, everything.
Awesome. So our website is www.cotesdefemme, spelled COTESDEFEMME.com. And our Instagram and Facebook are at Cotes De Femme
And Twitter.
and Twitter. Yeah. So
Yeah.
find us there. Follow us on
Awesome.
Instagram.
Before
And
we leave.
YouTube.
Oh, you got a YouTube.
We do have a YouTube.
Just one video is on there right now.
hey,
It's our
that's
intro
still
thing.
more than none.
That's true.
So before we leave, is there anything else other than the sparkling that might be coming out?
Right now, that
That's the next venture?
That's the next venture. Yes,
That's the next
we
venture.
definitely have lots of ideas in store, but
Yeah.
a little
I'm
bit of time.
excited. That is, I'm literally loving this. I'm not like, again, she's the wine person. I'm not, but I'm having the best time. So until next time, guys, we will see you then.
Okay, so we hope that you guys enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoyed making it. We had so much fun sitting down with Bernards, getting to know them, having a glass or two or three of wine. And some exciting news is Cotes De Femme will be our first official sponsor for the podcast. And we are going to be giving away a bottle of the rosé and a bottle of the cab. So Jonna, will you tell everyone what they need to do?
I would love to, Lauren. So everyone, if you go to my Instagram at Babbles_nonsense, you will see that you need to follow me, Babbles_nonsense, and follow Lauren at With Rhyme and Reason. And then also follow Cotes De Femme. It's COTES, which it's like Cotes De Femme. Follow all three of us. Like the photo on my page, Babbles_nonsense, and tag a friend, just one friend, and make sure you're following all of us, like I said, and we will pick one lucky winner and I will slide into your DMs and get your address. It could be anywhere, and we will be shipping a bottle of rosé and a bottle of cab. Now, I just want to make this clear. It's going to be two different winners. So one person will be getting the rosé and one person will be getting the cab. So there will be two winners, and we are so excited to do this because this is our first giveaway and our first sponsors. So do that, guys, if you want a delicious bottle of wine. All right, guys, until next time. Bye.
Bye.